am the pinnacle of an education. A chance to flourish, a chance to bloom, to blossom, to thrive and to prosper. I do not yield to surrender, for being in my presence is proof of dexterity. Your greatness is not measured by money or stature, it's measured by courage and heart. I invite all creeds, of combustion, electric, and of hybrid. I respect artificial and human intelligence alike, for I am a contemporary. It's 2019. I am coming of age. Celebrate 21 years of Studentship Showcase with me. I command you to my home, the home of British motorsport. Silverstone is calling. Who will answer? I am Formula Student. Hello and welcome to Formula Students. We're here at the home of British motor racing at Silverstone Racetrack. Now, it was just less than a week ago that Lewis Hamilton clinched that record-breaking 6th win. But this weekend, it's a very different story. We have over 2,000 students, some of the brightest sparks in engineering, coming here to showcase what they've been working on over the last year. I'm Nikki Shields. Joining me are the commentary guys, Sam and Andrew. This is such an exciting event, you know, particularly the engineering students have travelled far and wide. I think this year we've got students that have come as far from Hong Kong, which is fantastic to see. A real highlight in the calendar. Behind us we've got the Acceleration Going event, but just quickly, you guys have both competed in this event before. Why is it so special?
This is really, to put it how I explain to people, if you have like an arts degree, you have like the final year show in a posh place in London and everybody goes and looks at sculptures and paintings and things like that. Well, this is what engineering students do. So they come along, they build a racing car, they come to Silverstone and have a motorsport event, which is, frankly, it's far more fun.
And the coolest thing ever, you're racing a car that you built at Silverstone.
Exactly. And a lot of these guys go directly into jobs from Formula One. So Lewis Hamilton's race engineer, Andrew Shovlin, he did this competition. Jensen Button will be, I think he might be joining us later in the weekend, but he's a lot of his engineers, when he was at McLaren and at other teams, they all came from this. And we had Ross Brawn here, he's big involved in the event, and James Allison, who's the technical director at Mercedes, he's been at the event. Paddy Lowe used to be involved in the event. There's lots and lots of great people, and it's, you know, Andrew, you've done it plenty more than I did actually, and you know, it really does lead to great careers.
I mean, absolutely, it puts you in the physical situations that you simply don't get in the classroom. You know, a lot of people can do theory, a lot of people can do the sums and the paperwork and all the rest of it, but these guys and girls behind us, you know, they've been preparing these cars for 9 months, 10 months, maybe up to a year, fixing issues, designing them as well, and it really puts you at the forefront of engineering and gives you those skills that serve into your future careers.
Both obviously competed here, both engineers, and I think what the great opportunity for these guys is just how diverse the opportunity in engineering is. Tell us, what do you both do now?
I was never a particularly good engineer, I just talk about it now instead. That's what I do. So Andrew does proper job.
My phone's working as a driveline engineer at Jaguar Land Rover, so yeah, very much former student was a big part of me getting that job, you know. A lot of the office members that we have in the driveline department in JLR have done function in the past, So yeah, definitely serves a purpose here in the here and now.
Just one thing I'd like to point out, we do have a couple of cars on track at the moment. It's an acceleration competition, so the car's got a 75 metre acceleration there, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. If you hear a big cheer, it's a quick time. One of the reasons we're a little bit late to air is that this morning it was very British weather and the track was wet, so quite a few cars didn't turn up on the start line. So,
But now we're blessed with sunshine,
we are,
which
and-
we can
and it's-
enjoy and stand outside and hopefully get a tan today.
it's never a problem for me, but there you go.
That's all right, yeah, you're right. So talk us through, what kind of times are we expecting from these guys?
Well, I think to see a really quick time on the
Yeah.
acceleration run, we're going to see a sub 4 second run, so 3.8, 3.9. We haven't seen that so far today, probably due to the track conditions. There's also mud down the track, not quite sure how that got there, but there is mud down the track. First time we've been on this new surface at Silverstone as well, Andrew.
Yeah, I was having a look at it this morning, walking back up from Cops Corner. The run off the concrete, that's dried out very, very quickly. But this new surface that was into the Grand Prix last weekend, it's holding a lot of moisture at the moment, and it's starting to dry now. You see some quite thick layers of rubber being laid down at the start, but as we go through the day as well, we see the sprint event this afternoon. You know, how the track evolves over the course of the day, how different parts of the track evolve across the course of the day. That's going to be really, really key for the students to understand how to do well.
Let's have a quick talk actually about the schedule for the weekend, because it is jam-packed and we want to make sure that you don't miss any of the action. Now this morning, as the guy said, we've got the acceleration event going on behind us, and we've also got the skid pad event. Now at 12:15 I'm really interested about this because there's the business plan presentation final. This is not just about on-track action, of course. The guys, the girls that are here, they get suited and booted, they go in, they pitch their business plan proposals. This has to be a profitable business at the end of the day. Then later on, towards the end of the day, 6 o'clock, we've got the costs and manufacturing final. Then at 7 o'clock, it's the engineering design final. And then tomorrow, taking place throughout the day, is the endurance event. Now, the endurance event, I believe, is it over 20 kilometres?
45.
Oh, even...
Well, 22 kilometres including, yeah, but it lasts about 45 minutes for the running
Okay.
around.
There you go. That's
There
me.
we are, yeah.
I should know that by now. You think after 19 years, but there you go. One of
Yeah,
the things,
quite incredible. 19 years he's been here at this event,
one
and the hair gets bigger every year. It's
does.
brilliant.
It used to be no there originally. One of the things there's two types of event here at Formula Student. There's the static events, where they're in the business presentation, they get the car's design assessed, the cost of the car assessed, and like other little bit details. The business presentation is really fun. It's like The Apprentice. And
Is it terrifying?
it's really. I used
Did
to,
you wear a suit?
I
Did
know,
you put
I
your...
judged that for a few years.
Oh,
you
wow.
can be really harsh in the, it's a bit like The Apprentice meets Dragon's Den. It's really, really nice. And then you have the dynamic event. So that's what we're going on behind us. You have the acceleration run we've talked about. You've got the skid pad, where the cars have to do a figure eight in a certain amount of time. I'll ask Andrew more about that because I never really got involved in that event, and I never go and watch it because I'm always stood here. And then this afternoon we've got the sprint, which is really a time attack style event. So there's the special track that's been built down the road. You can't see it, but you'll see it this afternoon. And then that's the same course for the endurance, and that acts as the qualifying session for tomorrow's endurance run.
Okay.
It's very important what start time you get. So it's a bit more like downhill ski racing.
And in terms of the most challenging, I mean, obviously all the teams want to do their best, but what's the toughest? What's the hardest to compete in?
I'd say the endurance, but you might disagree.
No, I agree fully. That endurance race, for the drivers themselves, a lot of them, the vast majority of them have no racing experience, so physically it can be quite demanding. We're saved a little bit by being a little bit cooler. So often we see, cars overheating, especially when they get to halfway, they have to do a driver change at halfway, stop the car, turn it off, do the driver change, have a bit of a check for scooters, and then get it going again. That's often when we see cars that seem to have a lot of trouble. They'll still be having trouble with that tomorrow, but a little bit safe this weekend. As an example behind here, how it was, seems to have had a few problems keeping the car running. Electrics, batteries, always very tricky stuff in these conditions.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. Put him on the start line. Eric Walker is struggling to restart. He's only got to do 75 metres at this point, but he's got to do the full endurance run. That's going to be quite difficult, as we just do that. Yeah, over revving and getting very sideways as well. Driver change related on that.
Finally, I've got to ask you guys though, because it's quite an exciting year, because this is the first year there is the artificial intelligence category, the AI category that we're going to see, autonomous race cars.
That's witchcraft to me. These
I
are cars
know.
without drivers, and they actually
There's a big
look
hole
really
missing,
cool.
isn't there?
I don't know. That stuff scares me.
Yeah, it's definitely somewhere where we're going, and autonomous vehicles in the future, very applicable to on-road technology. Yeah, I mean, you've already seen some manufacturers employ that technology into their cars around the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, another great challenge for the students to throw themselves into. I mean, it's something I would have really liked to have had a go at, being able to program, and also, brings in electrical engineers as well. You see a lot of mechanical engineers in, but bringing the electrical engineers in, the control engineer, a real big challenge that's going to be massive for the industry in the next 20 years.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much. Now, I'm going to head out and see what I can find going on around the event, and I'm going to leave you guys to commentate on the action here during the acceleration event. I'm Nikki Shields, this is Sam and Andrew, and we'll be your team for the weekend.
Thanks very much, guys. Right, I'm going to switch on my microphone and we're going to be live, and this is going out on various channels, including the iMechie's official channel, also Let's Go Racing on YouTube. And as you can see, there's absolutely nothing on track as we go to the live feed, but that gives us a great opportunity to walk back to the timing truck and look at the times and cars that have run so far. On top of the table is still the University of Aberdeen, which was on a slightly damp track, and that was a 4.1 second run. Cardiff in second position.
Lighter drivers, smaller drivers in this acceleration event, guys. A heavier driver in for your skid pad event to give you a bit more grip. But yeah, basically, the test is of the car, not of the driver. So by having various drivers take part in this test, we get that variability. If you've got a good car underneath you and a good drivable car that's easy to control, you're going to do well. Just looking a little bit further down, as Sam mentioned, yeah, Hertfordshire at the moment, in the past, a top UK team, very, very good car here in terms of design. They've done a lot of work on that car. They've got some good support from the likes of ProDrive. I agree. I think they're going to be a little bit disappointed with that at the moment. Down there in fifth with still a lot of teams to run. We haven't seen Oxford Brookes yet, another one of the perennial front runners here at Formula Student UK. The Sheffield car I had a look at earlier in the weekend. That looks good. They haven't run yet. The two cars from Bath, the internal combustion car, the petrol car, and the electric car. We've not seen those cars yet. So Hertfordshire in a real danger zone here of maybe not even making it into the top 10, never mind the top 6 shoot-off. The top 6, by the way, will run basically a run-off of the acceleration event, this 75-metre course, straight down the Cop Straight, the wrong way down the Cop Straight, if you're used to watching the 12:15, so keep an eye out for that. But so far we've had 15 cars run, and we've got the Heriot Watt car back out from Scotland, the number 30. We will talk from time to time about the Celtic Cup. This is an unofficial competition that myself and Sam like, which takes in the Scots, the Welsh, the Irish, and maybe the Cornish. But away go Heriot Watt for their next run. How did they do? 5.5 puts them in 11th place there. Needs a little bit more speed, I think, Sam.
Yeah, again, it's a little thing. Just in case you guys are wondering, no, I'm not dead. I was just looking at the chat. We have my laptop's not where the commentary position is, so I can't look at both at the same time. Yeah, it's got University of Glasgow as well. The Celtic Cup, yeah, is these Celtic areas, and we do talk about it a lot. And University of Cardiff once promised to actually make that trophy a reality, but then in great Celtic Cup tradition, that still doesn't exist. So we will have one day. It's interesting. I'm still interested in Aberdeen's time, that it's still top of the table, and it was run on a mostly damp track. So, I mean, I know they're Scottish, but that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. It's a really, really nice car, that Aberdeen car. I had a chat with them last night. They've been a solid team for a number of years. Good in the statics as well. That's a big thing at this competition. Obviously, we're watching the dynamic of. well here at Formula Student. Here goes Glasgow again. It's a 4.98. Doesn't improve. Well, that was their second driver's first run, so run 3 out of 4. So they stay where they are in 4th place there. But again, I think there's more to come from that car, the number 52. And here, another engine firing up behind the pit wall. And we'll see who it is in the moment. Meanwhile, Glasgow are going to come back down towards us the right way down the Cop Straight if you're a Formula 1 car. And I think the people are very happy about that one. Of course, the skid pad event's ongoing as well. We'll bring updates to you on that in a bit. That's a similar setup. Drivers, 2 runs each, 4 in total. So it's quite a challenge for the teams on this Saturday morning here at Formula Student, because basically you've got to run the car 8 times. If you think of it, again, like in terms of a Formula 1 qualifying session, and how many runs the teams do through Quali 1, Quali 2, Quali 3, you know, we're asking these guys to do more than that. They're going to run the car in competition, queue up as well, 8 times. It's a real pressure cooker situation in terms of time management, another key skill for these future engineers. But anyway, here goes Glasgow again. This is their final run on acceleration. A lot of wheel spin. That was a quick start, though. Good shift up into second gear, and it's a 4.36. Improves their lap time. In fact, they've done an equal time with the Mets car. So Mets and Glasgow there, both on a 4.36. So all of these times are accounting for points. Basically, you win the event, you get the maximum amount of points, and then there's a whole complicated mathematician thing, which I won't bore you with, which allocates points to each of these teams relative to how they've done. We'll explain more on that later and keep you posted. Here comes Swansea then. Very nice looking machine, this. White and black machine, number 119, another runner in the Celtic Cup. The boys and girls from Wales. This is the first run we've seen of them today, and I can see on the side of the car that they've been cultivating mass since 2017. Let's see how Swansea do here then. The 119, lots of sponsors on there. Away they go. Roaring off the line. It's going to be a solid time of 4.9 to start with. And that's popped them into 9th place, just behind the university from Norway, the Agda number 42. That's good from Swansea. Points on the board. Swansea, not always a team that we see out in the acceleration event. So they've clearly improved this year to be able to get the car prepared through all the scrutineering checks. If you don't know what the scrutineering checks are, let me explain them for you at home on the stream. There's basically a whole array of safety checks that these cars have to go through just to be able to run in the competition themselves. Very, very hard to pass as well. So for most of the teams, just getting through those scrutineering checks is a victory in itself.
Cultivating mass since 2017 and making a good old racket, and a great start off the line there is the University of Swansea. And that's a 4.460. It actually looked a lot quicker than that. I'm really impressed by the little white car here. Now, I know the conditions are very windy, as you can probably hear on the microphones, and we'll be in the commentary box later on, but we're standing outdoors at the moment doing this. We're probably going to be seeing... Well, I'm surprised to see that we've seen so many of the Welsh and Northern teams so far. Not so many of the Europeans, just the French. Yep. The European teams haven't seen. We haven't seen Zwickau. They've got the German team. We've got really interesting electric design. We haven't seen that hybrid car. So one of the key things about this competition, and we'll talk a little bit more about the rules in the sprint this afternoon, discuss that a little bit in more detail. 710cc maximum combustion engine capacity, I believe. But you can have a hybrid. You can have a full electric vehicle with rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Six-wheel drive if anyone bothered, I believe. You wouldn't do it because it's too heavy. You could have diesel. You have hydrogen fuel cells. That's been tried in the past. I mean, there's not really too many rules other than safety regulations, and that's a very, very thick book indeed.
No, absolutely, and that's what part of the competition's about, is to allow the university students to be innovative in themselves. Here goes Manchester Metropolitan for another one. Very high revving, 4.87. I don't think that improves their time. No, they did a 4.80 earlier on, so they stay there in 8th place. But you're absolutely right, Sam, and a lot of the students, will do the designs themselves. It's all about built, not bought, and getting those design skills, the fabrication skills, then the maintenance skills of getting these cars to run and keep running as well. Really, really does give the students a good chance to develop those skills that they might not just get in the classroom.
Now, I was saying about there being lots of northern teams and Welsh teams, and there are not enough southern teams. You can't get much more southern than Southampton. I mean, the clue's in the name. Well, Southampton University with that very neat car. A little bit Oxford Brooks-esque from a few years ago, but this is all the work of the students at Southampton, and it looks like they've done a very good job. Launching off the line now, who's your tyres? Little bit slow off the line there from the driver. The car accelerates well once it's got going. 4.9 dead. I think that car's got at least another 5 tenths in it when the driver learns to get off the line a little bit faster.
Yeah, some troubles there with the clutch engagement, I think, as they got into first gear. And it's a competitive team. This is a team that's actually got some really good drivers. I know we've said before that, it's not about the driver, this competition. It is still helpful, though, to have a good pedaler behind your car. A lot of guys who've got some karting
channel, also Let's Go. About weight, another one that's sponsored by the Santander Universities, because on one side of the car is Domino's Pizza sponsorship, and on the other side of the car is a kebab shop sponsorship. So really keeping in the spirit of Formula Student. Actually, that's very clever, because if they're getting free kebabs and pizza while they're working, it's money they're not saving that they can invest into the car.
Absolutely. A lot of the teams have to raise their own sponsorship. Most of them get support from the universities. That's often not enough to do everything that they want to do and get here to Silverstone. So yeah, finding that sponsorship to build the car, getting goods in hand, perhaps from different engineering companies around the world, really, really crucial part of running a Formula Student team.
Well, 4.890, perhaps too many kebabs and a bit too much stuffed crust on those Dominoes to get the weight down. Obviously, weight on these cars is absolutely crucial. Now, if you haven't watched Formula Student before or any FSAE event, the weight of these cars is pretty spectacular. So anything over 200 kilos is a little bit on the lardy side. And look, you'll see cars that are down in the 190, 180 range, which is about right for the cars. We have seen super light cars. I think 130 kilos is the record, but I may be wrong there.
Yeah, some of the Dutch teams did that in the past. I have seen a 169. I think it's Strathclyde running at 169 this weekend, and that's all checked as part of the scrutineering checks as well. We bring them into chassis, we check the wings, the chassis rails are all to the correct spec. There's a lot of work that's been done beforehand. There we also weigh it on the scrutineering bed and confirm the weight, because of course we want to make sure that the cars are running in the same state now that they are when we checked them earlier in the week. Make sure nobody's cheating.
Now, this morning it's all about the acceleration ability of the car being assessed in this straight line 75-metre acceleration run. In the afternoon, and there's also a skid pad session, so the cars are doing figure eights to see how they can corner.
For the university.
It's going to be really, really exciting. But around, I believe, 12:15, we'll see the top 6 runoffs, the fastest 6 cars shooting out for the victory in the acceleration run. And then there'll be about a 45-minute break. We'll be catching up with Nicky at that point. And then we go to the time attack in the afternoon, where we should have slightly clearer microphones.
We hope. Manchester are next up. Now, this is something that I've noticed so far this week, Sam, that a lot of our teams that, kind of are in the middle ground, especially the British universities, not your Brooks, it's not your Hearts, it's not your Baths. This is a key car. The Manchester car, I don't think we've seen out this early in the competition before, or not for at least for a good few years. Really nicely packaged car here. Purple chassis as well. It's quite striking to look at. Very respectful team in scrutineering, and just for future years, and point this out to anybody of the teams for future learning as well. Everything that we were talking about and raising on the car, you might need to change this, change that. To me, they were writing all of them down. They're a really well prepared team. I hope they do well in this run.
and that's what you're going to see throughout. Now, I'm just looking at the white stripe on the start-finish line. That's the start-finish line for the Silverstone National Circuit, where some of the British Touring cars, I think the British Touring cars aren't even racing on this layout anymore, but one of the short layouts here at Silverstone. Now, that start-finish stripe was plain white this morning. It's now getting darker and darker as more rubber is laid down on the start of this acceleration run. There is an advantage in these conditions to running a little bit later, isn't there?
There is more rubber going down, a bit more heat in the tarmac as well. Here come Manchester. Oh, they've stalled as they're being rolled to the start line by our hard-working marshals here at Silverstone. But yeah, obviously you want to run as late as possible, but of course it's sunny at the moment, but we know how changeable the conditions are at Silverstone, and some rain could appear at any moment. That's why I think some of the British teams, are running a little bit earlier, just getting points on the board. It's quite a sensible thing to do in my book.
Well, that could explain why all the Welsh ran so early, because, well, the Welsh know a thing or two about rain, having spent enough time out on the stages there. But we're out to see Oxford Brookes University, my old gaff, coming to the start line a little while, but car 97 from the University of Manchester still struggling to get its start going well. The timekeepers aren't happy with its positioning. It's being rolled back on the line, I think. The officials are coming to have an inspecting, repositioning the car. Little tiny Hoosier tyres. Why are the cars so small, Andrew?
Weight mainly. A lot of teams in the last few years, taking back 6-7 years ago, were running 13-inch wheels. A lot of them have switched to 10-inch wheels now. Reducing the weight of your rung-sprung mass and what's out there. Also, talking about rotating inertias and things like that, we're getting very technical now. But the wheels are one of the best areas for teams to get the weight down. And you'll see a lot of the top teams who've clocked onto that, running 10-inch wheels, sometimes even carbon wheels as well. That always comes as a bit of a danger if you get your carbon layups right. But a lot of these teams now running these aluminium or steel 10-inch wheels and doing well with them.
Well, we are definitely going to see some carbon wheels on track. Not too long, I don't think. Student-designed carbon fibre wheels. I've yet to be convinced. Yes, you're reducing the unsprung weight, but it's a lot of hassle for, I think, a very small gain. Well, University of Manchester, the officials weren't happy with something on that car, and it's being pushed back into the staging area. I'm not sure why. The engine is running, so maybe you can't get a gear, but that means car 2 will be taking to the track any moment. That's Oxford Brookes University. Very advanced design here. Full underfloor aerodynamics, full wing package. Not sure if it's an adjustable wing package. I don't think it is. Really advanced wing. You can see some detail on the wind tunnel CFD work done on that wing on the Race Car Engineering website. The driver of the Oxford Brookes car, though, not too happy, shouting about something. Not quite sure. The team are looking at something in the cockpit. The steering wheel isn't on. Oh, that's cute. The driver couldn't put the steering wheel on his own.
Yeah, that's a little bit embarrassing for him that we've pointed that out. Now, this is effectively your top-ranked team here this week at Silverstone. No Monash University this year, who won last year. That's pretty normal. They only come over to Europe every other year. But this team from the UK, I don't think I've seen an aero package this complex on a British car before. We've seen some of the German teams running things of this description, but meanwhile Manchester are away at long last on their first run.
Oh, but they're not getting to the end of the run at this rate, Andrew. I think that's transmission to us, because he stopped halfway along the line. And now what's the driver going to do? No, the car has conked out. Well, that's not a good start for Manchester University, but yeah, is the driver going to get out of the car? I think he is. Yes, he is. That's the end of their run with that car. So there'll be a short delay for Oxford Brookes, and that's the frustration for Oxford Brookes as the students run down to the start-finish line. Well, just run down to the acceleration run to get their car off the track. So there'll be a short delay, about 15-20 seconds before car 2, Oxford Brookes takes the track, but it is a super advanced car. One of the things they've done both wind tunnel testing and CFD on that Oxford Brookes car. I'm not sure if they've gone to scale models, but it was definitely full-scale wind tunnel testing, I believe, done at Myra. University of Hertfordshire have benefited from that in the past, as have Bath.
That's one of the big parts of this competition. When we talk about the engineering design events, yesterday and on Thursday the teams have had to basically be judged on not just their designs in terms of how intricate they are or the materials that they use, but getting the understanding of why they've done what they've done, it's all very well and good, because a lot of teams, will carry over parts from previous years or tinker or develop them. But if you don't understand how they work, you're not getting the learning from it. So it's good to hear that Brooks have been doing, a lot of from virtual up to physical level. We do that a lot at Jaguar Land Rover. We start at the virtual, but we never end there. We want to physically test the parts as well, all the way up to having a full car. And absolutely exemplary work again here from Oxford Brooks on that basis.
Silverstone is really the home venue for Oxford Brooks University, as the name suggests, based just down the A43 in Oxford. A little bit of a rivalry between this team and the other local university, University of Hertfordshire. Northampton, I don't believe, are in the competition this year, so it's Hertfordshire versus Brooks for the home team honours. Both of the winged cars. Wings on Formula Student cars are optional. There are regulations relating to the size of the wings, but the design of the wing is essentially free. Neat start from Brooks, tiny little diffuser on the back of that car, 4.690, which will put Oxford Brooks into 7th position, not what they were hoping for.
Yeah, I think the start was a little bit slow there. They didn't punch away out of the start gate there, so hopefully a few more tenths to find in the Brooks car. Looks like they're going to come straight back for run number 2. So this is the first driver's second run. He won't be allowed to run again after this one, but they'll have their second driver primed and ready, I'm sure, to get runs 3 and 4 done later this morning.
And just to point out, each car has 2 drivers. Each driver gets 2 runs, 2 attempts at this acceleration run. Only the fastest run counts. Very enthusiastic start there from the Brooks driver. A lot cleaner, but still only a 4.760. So that's not going to be enough for them to move up from a 7th position.
I actually wonder there, Sam, did the driver break the beam? He was slightly rolling before he got going under, IC power. I just wondered, did he break the beam there? And probably lost 3 or 4 tenths of a second doing that.
Well, he nearly broke the green flag because the marshal was still waving it when he was launching. So on the start line now, it's Sheffield Hallam, I believe. Now, this is a real achievement for them, but this team really struggled a few years ago.
Yeah, another team that's taken leaps and bounds forwards. Also, in mind you, unofficial competition, the Yorkshire Pudding.
Oh, I like this competition. We're going to talk about our unofficial trophies. I think we can actually make the Yorkshire Pudding Award appear. That doesn't need to be a fictional, because there's a Marks and Spencer's up the road.
There is indeed, but away goes the number 14, Sheffield Hallam. Let's see how they do. It's a decent start. It's going to be in the 6.05.
Well, scores on the board and points are important. So each competition in Formula Student has its own award. So you can win the individual disciplines. It's a bit like the Omnium in Olympic cycling. You have to win that, you have to win every individual discipline. But in Formula Student, there's also prizes for each individual discipline. So you will see, and the driver waving like the Queen along the the driver of car 40 from Sheffield Hallam University has royal aspirations, I think we can.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to say about that for some of Sheffield Hallam. But anyway, round number 2 coming up now. Also say what's good for Sheffield Hallam, they're out before their cross-city rivals at the University of Sheffield, the number 5, who've got some very high aspirations in terms of the competition. So that's a feather in their cap for this run. They're going to go for run 2 now. Away goes the green flag. Steady start, shifting up through the gears. What's the time going to be?
That's going to be a 6.090. Well, that still points on the board for Sheffield Hallam University. I think the drivers were feeling a bit delicate with that car. I think there is, again, more speed in that car. But that's why you have 2 drivers, 2 runs. Maybe go down, take it gently, get a time on the board, then come back later and put the wild one in.
Yeah, I think that was a stately run. After we'll say about the wave, it's a stately driver there with a stately run for Sheffield Hallam.
I'm a fan of that driver, whatever anybody says. I think that was brilliant. Heriot-Watt University, in theory, is the next car onto the track, but the new track surface at Silverstone is slightly higher than the old track surface, and quite a few cars are just struggling with a little bump to get out of the pit lane onto the.
With the teams, a lot about this in tech scrutineering, of course, that some of the track furniture that they're going to have to get around. Obviously, the cars have been raised. One regulation change that we've had this year, they've been raised. They've got to be have a 3 centimetre ground clearance now. But you're right there, Sam. It's interesting as well. If cars start having trouble in sprint and endurance and having moments where they come to a stop, are they going to be able to get going again if they've got to get over a piece of track first to get back in the race?
And it's not particularly hot down here at Silverstone at the moment. I noticed you as a northerner are wearing a jacket. Just me as it's sturdy East Anglian and just in my t-shirt here. But the Oxford Brookes microlight light aircraft is here. Good to see that. Oxford Brookes bringing over their own little airplane to check out the weather conditions as usual. The Yorkshire pudding goading seems to have worked, Andrew, because I see the distinctive white and black with a little stripe on it nose of Sheffield University coming to the line.
Yeah, and any of the newer teams who want to see where they can go in the next few years, look at this University of Sheffield car, because I mentioned before, this is my 10th Formula student. It's also Sheffield's 10th Formula student, and I've seen their journey from new beginners in their first year to where they are now. Finished 5th last year, hence the number 5. They've had some challenges. They've gone quite aggressive on the packaging, but they've got through all the scrutineering parts. Here they are coming into the dynamic events for the first time. Really, really keen to see how this car runs.
It's got that sound that I've never been a big fan of a single-cylinder engine. Popping and banging, and I prefer the fours. The four-cylinder engine sound the best, I think. But car 5 is a bit of a giveaway. It's a competitive team, as you say. University of Sheffield, year 10, car 5. On the line, tiny little wheels, tiny little Hoosier tyres, braid metal wheels. Not the best start though. Driver didn't get the power down, he rolled it off on the clutch, and that was a 5.270. Lost at least a second there though on the start. He's coming back for another go.
Yeah, they'll need to do better than that. Similar to what they did at Oxford Brookes' car did earlier, just rolling over the line, breaking the beam, losing time there. I reckon they probably lost 6th or 7th tenths there with rolling over that line before they really got under motive power. So they're coming back now. They'll give it a second run and hopefully get under 4.5.
Now, if you are watching the live streams, either on Let's Go Racing or the Formula Student official channel, we can see your questions, we can see your comments. We'll be answering them later on in this afternoon's sprint session, the time attack session, mainly because the laptop's in the truck and we're outside. So it's commentate or talk to you, so we're going to commentate instead.
Here at Sheffield then, second run for them. And they've crept over the line again. That wasn't a good start again for Sheffield. And the lap time this time is a 4.7 better.
Yeah, 4.7 seconds is good enough to put Sheffield into 8th position. They're going to go off and do a driver change and have another go in a little while. But next on track, car 88. Now, have we seen that before?
No, we haven't. This is the Huddersfield team. Really interesting team, this.
That's in Yorkshire, isn't it?
It is another runner in the Yorkshire Pudding Cup. But yeah, this team has a lot of changes in terms of how the university runs its project. So they're a bit of an up and down team. They have been a top British team before. And this year, they seem to have got it right. They've got a good group of students here who've taken on the challenge really well. Very nicely packaged car. And let's see how they do with run 1.
Well, it says on the rear wing precision guesswork. I'm not entirely sure that's true. The students in that team have told me that they believe this is their best ever car and they're hoping for quite a lot from it. The revs go up on car 88, really good start. Nicely sideways off there. That's not precision guesswork, that's good driving. 4.720. Unless the timing clock stuck, that's exactly what the last car did.
Yeah, it did indeed. And I think there's more time in that as well. A little bit of wheel spin off the line. They'll have got a little bit of temperature in the tyres with that run. Let's see how they can do with run 2.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, there was a bit of wheel spin. Of course, that does put them, of course, in 8th position, just behind Oxford Brookes. Aberdeen, though, still on the top. I didn't expect them on a sort of slippery track to still be on the top mark at the moment.
Was on a slippery track, but that car's one of our really, really light ones. And have they got any runs left though? I think they have got one more run left. Yeah. So I think they're sitting, waiting to see what the rest of the field does before they try and tackle that 4th run, probably in better conditions than they had earlier.
Really good racecraft there from Aberdeen. As Huddersfield comes to the line, we're going to see the Zid Germans for the first time today. In a minute, but Huddersfield first. Going for that Yorkshire pudding and maybe something better. Much better start, a little bit sideways off the line. Not such a good gift shift, but a 4.650, much improved time, puts Huddersfield up to 6th position overall. Herrick, what now? Got the car happier with its own existence. Comes up to the line. Now the team need to take off that push bar because because they don't want to be hanging on to it when it starts.
No, that's added weight. It'll flap around. It won't do you any good at all. Here go Harriet's Watts again then, the number 30. Similar to the Lindsay car, this runner in the Celtic Cup. Away they go.
It was a terrible start though. They lost 6.030, but they lost a huge amount of time on that start line, and that does nothing for their position. So the second driver needs to have another go. He stalled the engine down at the end of the acceleration run. So short delay before we see the all-electric car from UAS Zwickau.
Yeah, I love that these guys are back. You know, Zwickau have been the last 10 years a brilliant team all over Europe. I mean, if you've seen in the paddock, they've got their own almost like Formula One style transporter. This is a serious race team, but still with the ethos of Formula students at the centre of it, and their students learning a lot about the design and running this car. They've had some challenges. They had a couple of challenges in chassis, I believe, earlier in the week, but they're here, they're ready to race. For me, this is one of the favourites.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Zwickau are going to be a serious challenger car, not 196 rather, all electric. EVs allowed in this competition, as Harriet Water still just clogging up the end of the acceleration run, trying to get their car running. I think fairly soon they're going to be pushed behind the wall, as the team from Zwickau are very keen to run. Oh, it's the historic home of the famous Silver Arrows, the pre-war Mercedes Auto Union, not the Mercedes, the Auto Union Grand Prix cars of the 1930s. Those mid-engine, beautiful things driven by people like Hunstuck, and I still love the look of those cars. Many replicas of those built by Crossweight and Gardner here in England that are identical and slightly better than the originals, however.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been the team here from UAS Zwickau. They've been champions in Formula Student events around the world. I don't think they've ever won UK though. I think they've come second one year. I think the year that Chalmers from Sweden won the competition. But yeah, a real heritage in that bit of the world, which we see with quite a lot of the German and the Austrian teams. Not as many German teams here this year. Personally, I hope that a lot of them come back in future years. But it's going to be interesting, you know, can they get under 4 seconds? We've seen the electric cars run under 4 seconds in previous years. The track, I'd say, well, especially at the start line, it's dry now. It's good conditions for anyone coming out now. As we see Harriet's Watt being wheeled to the line one more time. I think, is this going to be their final run? I think it will be for their second driver.
Yeah, that's correct. It's their fourth and final run. They've got a mark on the board. Their best time at the moment is 5.280. It might take more than 5.280 to get this car started. This doesn't bode well for the endurance.
No, it doesn't. You know, you as a driver, for you have peace of mind more than anything. You want a car that's nice and easy to control and get it going again quickly. I just wonder, are they running a little bit low on voltage with the battery? Might need to have a little look at the electrical system and make sure everything's properly charged, especially for the sprint. Never mind the endurance, the sprint this afternoon where the car will be going through a lot of running. They go away again. Not a great start though.
Better start than the last time you tried though, and I think this is going to be a quicker time. It is, it's a 5.630. Not going to change their position. Harriet Watt finished the acceleration at a current position of 16th overall, but I think that's going to drop down one. He's lost the engine there again at the end of the start line, so he might struggle with the time attack later on. The sprint section, as it's called. Car 196 from US Zwickau now. There goes the little siren, telling us it's electric car now. I think that's all-wheel drive hub motors.
Yeah, four-wheel drive, motors on the outboard. Delft were really the first to do this, you know, back in about 2011, I think it was. It's a very, very tried and tested method for Formula Student cars. The German teams like it a lot. Also, I love the colour scheme on this. From the side, it's very, you know, Lotus-esque, the black and the gold. But when you get close to it, it's almost a little bit of British racing green in there.
It's a nod to the visit to this country they're visiting. Relatively good start from the Zwickau car. No fuss because it's an electric car, and that's a 4.440, which is rather slower than I expected. 4.440 puts Zwickau in 5th position, just between Aberdeen, Cardiff, Glasgow, and Metz. That's a little bit of a turn up for the books. Yeah,
it just looked to me like they were losing a little bit of torque in the last, 20 metres or so. I don't know if it's a geared car or not. Similar to what you see in Formula E. Sometimes they run with a 1 gear setup, sometimes with 2, sometimes 4. and they stayed in one gear there and just seemed to lose a bit of that acceleration and peak out on top speed a little bit too early.
Does it have a gearbox? I don't believe it does.
I'll go find out for you.
Not all electric cars need gearboxes. I think this one doesn't because it's got hub motors. So it'd be quite difficult to gear 4 separate in-wheel motors. So if they're changing gear, they have to do it all together. I think they are. What you're looking at with this car, though, because there is a bit of controversy about keeping the EVs and combustion cars in the same class. Form Student UK is the only competition to do that. Well, why not? It's to prove it's better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real test of the different technologies. I mean, this one, yeah, is all-wheel drive. It's got planetary gear sets, and in those planetary gear sets, final drive of 13 to 1. Away they go. That seemed better to me. Let's see what the time is. 4.3.
And that's good enough to put Zicar into second position, just behind Aberdeen. So second position overall, but still 2/10 of a second to find to get onto terms with Aberdeen. Aberdeen, of course, not running in good conditions, and still got a run left.
Still got a run to go. Now, hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. The Aston car's back. Now, we didn't see this on the stream earlier, but we had 2 spectacular runs from Aston's first driver when it was a little bit damp.
It was wet and they were running slicks. You could tell.
Yes, and they had a bit of a sideways moment, and then another one, and then another one, and another one, but they kept it out the wall.
No, it wasn't that many sideways moments. It was one giant interconnected sideways moment.
I see where you're going there, but here they are, driver 2. This is driver 2's first run, so run 3 for the team.
Remember what I said about you normally put the Wilds driver in second?
Yes, well, maybe they still have. Maybe it's even more wild than the first one.
Well, one of the problems we haven't got him on track right now, as you can probably see at the moment on the pictures, is he's rather sideways on the start line.
Yeah, that's, well, he's sideways from the start. He wants to be pointing face forward, the number 13 car.
Parks like I do.
I suppose it gives you a lot of space to make sure you don't get your car dented, but can also I think the Agda team's coming back out as well. This was our best newcomer as well last year, and they've taken a huge step forward in the last 12 months. But we'll see them after Aston, getting Aston on the line now for their third run.
It's a very strange looking camera being put down on the start line. I'm not quite sure what sort of camera that is, but we're going to be having some really great highlights on both the official iMechE stream and Let's Go Racing. We'll also have a set of videos on there. But the Aston car revs are risen. Gear is soon to be engaged. And start is not great. And sideways as always. That car's going to be spectacular on the later on, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm in a box for the sprint and I've got a bit of metal around me as opposed to what we've got now. I just wonder, are they struggling from a bit of torque steer perhaps? Because it seems to be as they really get on the power and get on the torque, that's when it kicks out. It's I might just have a look at their drive shafts and see what they're kind of running on the back end now. I reckon they've got torque steer issues.
I don't think it's torque steer, Andrew. I think it's just all of the revs on that car. It's just once the power's got down, they're just spinning up the wheels the whole way everywhere. Looks like fun to me.
Oh, it does.
Wonder what it did.
But it's not quick.
It might be quick on the skid pad. It's good to go around in circles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll just see what differential they're running as well. They're going to get here for their fourth run, final run. Yeah, they're running a Drexler limited slip diff at the moment, but it seems at the moment that it's allowing a lot of slip. We'll see how they do then with run number 4. So there's another team though that were through tech very, very early. They were one of the first teams into tech on Thursday morning. Sure, I always think it's a good indicator for a team that they're ready to go, they're ready to get the testing done, they're ready to get into the competition, and they are going to score points here, which is more than I think they've done before.
Well, thumbs up from the driver, and we'll watch the Aston guys launching it again. Same style launch, very ginger off the line. The revs come down. Sideways, nearly a little bit down the end. 6.40, which is not great. And that's the last run for Aston University on the acceleration in 21st. Slower than they did in the wet, so going straight is slower for that car, it seems.
Sprints will be spectacular for them later on in that vision. Here comes the number 42, the Agda car from Norway. Second driver, I believe.
Interesting team, quite big on their online videos, not so big on the rest of their social media though. It's not just about YouTube, even though I say that. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe on whatever channel you're watching on. Lots to come from Formula Student. Also, later today, Let's Go Racing, European Truck Grand Prix from the Nürburgring. But stay tuned to Formula Student because that's where all the action is on iMechie. There's plenty of videos from behind the scenes of here at Formula Student. Good launch though from the Norwegians. Slightly slow gear shifts though. And that cost them down to a 4.950.
Yeah, time to find there for the Norwegians. Do have a look at their exhaust though. They've got some nice detailing on the exhaust. Who says you can't see sound? They've got a perfect description of what noise their car makes written on the back of that car.
Yeah, they really do actually, and I'll read it out when it comes back because I've seen the photos of this and I saw it in the pits yesterday as I just noticed one of the British universities getting ready to go with its very distinctive colour scheme. And written on the back of this Norwegian car, it says "Wah tutu boom boom," which is pretty much accurate actually.
And there goes the boom boom down for their final run. Oh, they had a little shift problem there, 4.99.
Yeah, he tried to not shift at the end and just ran it. I think that was deliberate. The driver decided that gear shift was costing him too much time. The gearing just wasn't quite right for this 75-metre run. Did you get to the point that teams were actually changing gearing for this? I know that's happened in the past.
Yeah, again with the Zwickau guys I was talking to them last night, that has been something that they've been looking at, changing the ratios. Some of the teams have got custom gear sets in their bike engines. A lot of the teams run bike engines, of course, have been playing around with the ratios going through the gears there to get them something that's more suited to Formula Student. Meanwhile, here's Loughborough, run number 3, driver 2's first run. Oh, it's not a good one, Sam.
No, and clearly you could hear in the on the audio there, more snaps, crackles and pops in a bowl of Brexit cereal.
Yeah, they really need to get that sorted. And he's going to come back for a 4th one. I wouldn't have done that, Sam. With a bit more time on the board, I would have taken that car away to have a little look at it and make sure it was okay. I can see the Italians are next up as well. The Modena number 37. This is the petrol car from Modena. Hopefully we'll see the hybrid one later on. Meanwhile, though, here comes Loughborough for their final run in acceleration this morning.
Always distinctive pinky, purpley bodywork at Loughborough. Very much a stalwart Formula Student. And very much always just on the cusp of delivering something quite big. Well, once again, here is Loughborough launching off the line. Nice, neat getaway. But same again, the car doesn't seem to like running through, I don't know if it's 3rd or 4th gear there. 5.230 puts Loughborough with their final driver 16th, so that's not going to be good enough to worry the top 6 run-off.
I think that might have been an issue with the driver training, as you said earlier, Sam. I think the driver panicked a little bit there, went for a couple too many gears, and unfortunately that's cost Loughborough their run.
Yeah, and that's all of last. We'll see if Loughborough this morning. Lots more to come this afternoon. A little bit of time check, so Aberdeen still on the top of the table, still with a run spare. Zwickau in 2nd position, then Cardiff, Glasgow, Metz, Swansea, Huddersfield, University of Hertfordshire in 8th position. They don't have any runs left for Hertfordshire, but I think for the first time today we have car 37, sponsored now. Notably, this car is sponsored by HPE Coxa. You've probably never heard of that company. They do an awful lot of work on a certain Italian Formula 1 engine.
It's a brilliant sounding thing. Away goes the 37. Massive moment there for the 37.
Yeah, that's the 4.750. Now, if the driver can keep that car in a straight line, I think we will see a very fast car from this Italian car. Now, is the driver going to come back and have another go? Yes, he is. More corners on that straight line than in a linguini.
Indeed, I met these guys on Thursday in Chassis. They've got a carbon monocoque. Another very well prepared team. Their test reports were very good. I think they might have done quite well in design. They got the right level of detail, not too much descriptive language, but lots of numbers, lots of objective data to, tell us, the competition, and tell themselves why they made the design choices they have. But as you say, hope they can keep it more in a straight line on this second run, because I think there's a good time in this car.
I think there is too as well. Let's see it launch off the line. Can the driver keep it straight? Really good. Less extruding getaway, but much straighter. This is going to be a good time. 4.400. That's good enough to put Modena up into 6th position. But there was a little bit of time lost just off the start line. The driver got away well, then almost lost confidence in himself.
Yeah, I think there's at least a 4.2 in that car. Hopefully we'll see it with the second driver later on. We've got another bit of a lull, but another car poking its nose. It's the Huddersfield car again, the number 88.
Yeah, we'll see how this 88 car gets on now. It's just after 11 o'clock here in the UK. Minor lull on track as we wait for the Huddersfield car to get on. I believe, is it 12:15? We have the top 6 runoff.
That's when we're scheduled for.
Well, stick to the schedule.
We'll see. We'll wait and see.
As we, I rather enjoyed that. I'm not going to tell you what just happened because it was. Yeah, so no, I'm not going to tell them, but they might hear the difference.
Meanwhile, Huddersfield are back. This is their second driver and the driver's first run. Now, this car has been well tested as well. You know, they've had 5 days of testing. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, a lot of the teams come into this competition having not tested at all. So to have got a bit of running, ironed out some of the the little issues on this Huddersfield car. Let's see how they do then on run 3. Decent start.
No, it wasn't. The driver again got off the line very well, but then got a bit confused and muddled and lost some time. 5.250.
Good first stage, rubbish second stage. Let's see if they can get that sorted for run 4. Sheffield are back. The number 5. We'll see them in a moment for their second driver.
Who's your money on then for the Yorkshire Pud?
Ooh, do you know what? I actually think it's pretty close between the 2 cars that we've got out here at the moment. I like this Huddersfield car. I like the team. They've got some good drivers in it as well. But so have the Sheffield guys, and they've also got good experience. They've had a team leader in Rob Newman who's been here before. They've got continuity there on the Sheffield car. Their car's probably a bit more of a technical challenge to run. So if they can get it through the competition without breaking it, they're probably my favourites. But this Huddersfield team, they're more than a dark horse to me in terms of how the Yorkshire teams are going to run.
Again, though, a little bit of a not the best getaway. The car had a lot more in it. 5.290 puts Huddersfield up to 8th position. Well, they already were in that position anyway because the first driver was quicker. Huddersfield's coming back having another go. Not quite sure how that's allowed.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed in any terms, and the driver's now stopped. He's got a little bit excited and confused there.
I think let him have another go just for fun. I bet the marshals won't notice if you went round and did it again. No, I think they have. Oh no, he's going into the holding area to pretend to Vettel. I think he's going to try and have another run.
Yeah, why not? Give it a whirl. See what the car can do. Meanwhile, I think we're going to get Sheffield on the start line for another run. I'm just going to remind myself where they are at the moment.
Car 5 from Sheffield, currently sitting in 11th position. Need to move up the leaderboard to get into that runoff session.
Yeah, and they didn't have a good first run, of course. This was when they just tripped over the line and kind of stuttered for half a second, 0.8 of a second. I'm sure there's a 4.5 or lower in this car. They just need the driver to execute it.
Yeah, I think there's more time to come from car 5 as well. Big sponsorship there from Meggitt, as many years have done. No, not a good getaway either. Very sedate getaway, in fact. And the car accelerates well, but 5.580 with over a second left in the first sort of 10 metres.
Yeah, and that's going to put all the pressure now on this final run for driver 2. If they're going to make that top 6, which I think they can do, they've got to do it on this run. This is going to be their last chance.
Well, the driver took a very... There. After the Grand Prix circuit in, but now coming back on the starting grid. The old Formula 1 starting grid here at Silverstone. In my opinion, much nicer pit complex than this one.
I'd agree with that. I do miss the start being at this end of the circuit, going into Copse as turn 1. Always provided a high level of action and a challenge for the drivers.
I think the Haas F1 team prefer it in the old place as well.
Yes. But here's Sheffield then for their final run of the morning here on acceleration. 4.7 on the board. They've got to improve that if they're going to get good points here on this event. No, it's not going to be an improvement, Sam. That was a poor start again from Sheffield.
Well, that was a poor start, poor middle and a poor finish.
Yeah, it's just a poor run, full stop, and unfortunately, that's going to leave them outside the top 10.
Nobody likes the cooked Yorkshire pudding. I do, actually. Well, yeah, Sheffield sitting there in 11th position. At the moment, the top 6 is looking like this. Aberdeen, Zwickau, Cardiff, former champions, Glasgow, Metz, and Modena. But a car we need to debate its eligibility criteria, Andrew. Exeter. Is this a Celtic Cup entry?
Do you know what? Because they're doing so well this year, I think it is.
I think it is as well. Now, we are open to bribery and different interpretations of the rules of this imaginary trophy, which we've talked about now for I don't even know how many years, over a decade of talking about this trophy that doesn't exist. And University of Exeter has been deemed now as a Celtic Cup runner.
Let's see how they go in the first one. Another university that, in terms of student motorsports, have really come on in the UK. They've done some good work in the karting championships as well. And again, I don't think we've seen them this early in the competition before. We've seen them run in sprint, we've seen them run in endurance. I can't remember an Exeter car running, or at least running well, in acceleration.
And that's why we've not had the Celtic Cup debate about Exeter before, because we haven't seen them as well on. And, well, as starts go, there is room for improvement. 8.570. Come and have another go.
Yeah, you want to come back and have another go at that one and put that one. That one's done now, out the way, and focus on to the next one. Looks like Sheffield Hallam are coming back out for their second drivers' runs.
Everybody likes a second helping. The old Yorkshire pudding, and that's what Sheffield Hallam are going to give us. But first, we can see if Exeter, the Celtic runner, really friendly team. These guys. I was doing some tours of the paddocks and some STEM stuff for school kids yesterday, walking around here at Formula Student. One of the big things is not just to assess the abilities of the various engineering students, but also to promote science, technology, engineering and maths to the next generation Formula students. So I had some local school kids who were showing them around here. University of Exeter were extremely friendly and helpful. Really nice group of guys and girls there.
Yeah, I've had the same experience with them over the years as well. Of course, you mentioned the STEM aspect of the competition. That couldn't be done without our sponsors as well. Oh, as the Exeter car stalls on the line, and that's not good for run 2. They've already broken the beam.
Well, would they be allowed to rerun if he sort of gets a push back?
No, I think he's broken the beam. He started run 2.
The marshals were sort of saying, can he get a pushback? He's asking for a pushback. No, they're saying no pushback. That's your run. Oh, bad luck there for Exeter. Oh, well, that driver's going to be unhappy with himself there. That was a shame for Exeter. First driver completes his runs, and they're in last position down in 24th. Not quite sure how many cars have got through the very stringent safety inspection and technical inspection. Formula Student, as a formula, doesn't have very many rules, but the rule book is probably 5 metres thick, and it's almost entirely safety regulations.
Yeah, and especially with not any kind of homologation, we kind of have to do that to make sure that the students are safe, and we go. Probably takes about a few hours to get them through all those checks if it's on a good car, but that in itself is a learning experience. You see from year to year, I'm seeing a lot of the errors that some of the British teams made in previous years. Throttle cables, for example, is one of my big ones when I'm in scrutineering. Started to see some of those cars being better prepared as they go into tech, and that helps them get into this phase of the competition.
Well, for me, it's not throttle cables, it's the electrical wiring systems that always bugs me. And there are some really nice cars with some really bad wiring on them this year. And there's some really okay cars with some really beautiful wiring on them. Off the line there, Sheffield Hallam, little bit of a tentative start, lost a bit of time there, and the car didn't really accelerate as well as I'd hoped. 6.210.
Yeah, they won't be happy with that at this stage of the competition, but they'll have another run. Looks like the University of West of England, Bristol.
That was the first car on track this morning, the UWE Bristol. Decided after that run that the track was a little bit too wet to bother with coming back.
Yeah, and that was the right decision. You know, they've got a well-prepped car here. It's the first car through tech on Thursday morning, and was a well-prepped car as well. It was used to kind of train all the new scrutineers who volunteered for the first time here at Silverstone this year. Sheffield Hallam coming back down towards us at the start zone to go for another run, with work to do if they're going to start challenging in the Yorkshire pudding competition.
I do love our big camera we've got next to us. So the guy sitting in the van just sitting, he can't see the sunlight because he's been ensconced in a dark room built in the back of a van, but he's controlling this camera next to us. So it's really cool.
It's a very impressive piece of kit. Man, you never know, someone who did Formula Student may have engineered it in the past. This is the kind of thing that our students go on to do, not just you know, Formula 1 teams and race teams or car manufacturers, but any kind of engineering involving mechanics and electronics. That's what our students end up going to do.
Well, Sheffield Hallam need to do some more work on those starts. 6.170. Sheffield Hallam still sitting down there in 21st position, no improvement from them. Caramel, I want to talk about caramel. You know, like you have in chocolate bars and stuff. So one of the students, an engineering student yesterday, was telling me how she was looking at the tribology of caramel to ensure the best flavour and consistency for various chocolate bar manufacturers.
Tribology is a very interesting and probably tasty subject. It's like, yeah, I mean, you obviously have a lot of that in terms of oils and lubricants. Yeah, I could get on board with that. The tribology of chocolate bars.
Yeah, I didn't realise that the chocolate bar company sponsored it, but that's why we have seen Cadbury's and a few other brands coming and sponsoring some of these Formula Student teams. For those companies, this event is a really big recruitment ground. So we've seen people in the paddock recruited directly to the Mercedes Formula 1 team who are here recruiting today. We've seen Ferrari here recruiting, and we've seen some of the others just sneaking around in plain clothes trying to recruit. So I know there's about 4 or 5 Formula 1 teams represented in the paddock currently.
Yeah, and I know from the Birmingham team as well, a lot of the students in recent years have gone on to Formula 1 teams working for Red Bull, say Mercedes, HPP Powertrains here again this weekend. The guys and girls at Brixworth, who of course not just supplying engines for the Mercedes, but Racing Point.
Oh, you nearly did it. You nearly did it.
I nearly did it. Racing Point and Williams as well.
Yeah, obviously Racing Point changed its name at the beginning of this season. If not its monocoque design. Bristol though, car 121, all new design, much better off the line. 4.690, big improvement of the final run for that car. Moves them up to 11th. Great run for them, car 121.
I was on Racing Point. I'll just make it easy and still call him Jordan.
Oh, I had a weird dream last night. This is what I dream about. I had a dream that Jordan was re-entering Formula 1. Eddie Jordan had put a new team together.
Do you know what? I'd quite like to see that happen. Just see, yeah, the chaos that would ensue.
It was genuine. I woke up this morning thinking it was true and checked it online.
I remember getting forces with Haas then, seeing as they're probably going to need some new sponsorship in the coming months. Aberdeen are back. This is the final run for Aberdeen. This is a key run. Can they improve from their 4.1 that they've got on the board at the moment?
I think they probably can. Sponsored there, I know it's one of the sponsors on the side of this car, Proformance. Phil Matt's company, very good metal supplier to a lot of these teams. There's a lot of motorsport and engineering supply chain companies that get involved in student, and I think they get overlooked a little bit in this country, but we've got a huge well of small independent businesses that a lot of these students will go on to work with in future. They really get involved in these teams and competition.
Absolutely. We used to do a lot of work with material suppliers.
4.310 for Aberdeen. Aberdeen still tops the table, but didn't go any faster.
Yeah, it was a throw of the dice, just give it everything. Didn't quite work out, but they'll be happy with their 4.1. But yeah, go back to the independent companies when we ran the Birmingham team. I remember companies such as Midtherm in the local area to Birmingham. We'd get the tubes in, we'd get help laser cutting them. It's a huge part of the early stages of the project. The good teams, the teams that have success here, are the ones that get the car built nice and early and get it tested. And getting that supply chain going and early in the year is absolutely imperative to getting a good car together.
Absolutely. Well, car 66, Brunel University, one of the London teams. On the start line, revs go up. and come down slightly. Start wasn't perfectly executed, but it was still pretty reasonable, and that's good enough for a 4.940. Brunel University there, still in 13th position, so it was slightly slow. We're going to see a quick time in a minute, though. The Italians coming up. But as Brunel University are coming back past the pit wall, good one. I was talking about chocolate. See, just down the road, I believe, from the home of Coca-Cola or Cadbury, or one of the two.
Well, Cadbury's in Bourneville, of course, in Birmingham.
Would be Coca-Cola then.
Yeah. And Brunel coming round now. If I'm interpreting the XX correctly as well, it's their 20th car.
Yeah, Brunel have been a very much stalwart competitor in Formula Student. I think they were one of the first teams to take part in the competition in year one, where there was only 5 cars.
Yeah, just reading through. Aiming for a top 10 finish this year. The first time they've done that round. Want to give thanks to Renishaw, SolidWorks and Motec, who are all sponsoring the team again this year. Here we go then for another run from Brunel. Revs rise. Can they get off the line nice and cleanly? No, I think they're having trouble shifting into gear there, Sam.
That's absolutely right. As the Brunel car now tries again, revs go up. Again, still not the neatest start in the world, but a reasonable acceleration. Nearly lifting the front wheels in the middle. 4.500 moves Brunel up the leaderboard, but only into 8th position. You've got to be in top 6 to be in the runoff. Right now, Aberdeen have got their spots solid in there.
You do, but I think Brunel will be quite happy with that. They're going to get some decent points out of that. They can get the car ready now. I'm hoping they've done all their skid pad runs as well. Now they can focus on sprint and maybe get an early sprint run in whilst everybody else is having the top 6 run off.
That's absolutely right. Well, car 37 on the start line, that's Modena. Looking to get that. Now, this car we know to be quick off the line and slightly sideways. So this should be quite spectacular. Yellow, traditional racing colour of Ferrari, Modena, the home of many Italian motor racing legends and minor companies. Great getaway there for Modena, that's how you do it. Really good acceleration run and gets in as a 4.020 and to top the leaderboard. Finally, Aberdeen has lost its top spot to the Italians.
Yeah, that's what I call hooked up. That was a brilliant run from Modena. And I don't know if they've gone and done a bit of practice of those launches, but the driver was absolutely on it there, and I think they've still got runs to go.
They do. This is coming back. Modena's coming back for its final run, but that looks like they're at the time of day it is now. The conditions are good. The time it is, as I reach and find a microphone instead of the clock, 11:26. I think that's a pretty solid confirmation they're going to be in the top 6 runoff.
And it could go even quicker here. We've not seen a time yet under 4 seconds. Can Modena now, on their final run for the number 37, just going to get the car in the right position? It's not quite square on there to the course.
Good moves to the driver. The driver actually asked the marshals, no, I don't like that bit of track. I want to start just over this way a little bit to avoid that mud on the right-hand side. Good thinking. That's smart driving.
Yeah, clearly been watching how the course has been developing over the day. Jake Wallace, our head dynamic scrutineer on this part of the course, is happy. Hopefully the marshals are happy in a moment, or are we happy? Mr. Wallace having a little look there. It's called Will over as well to inspect something. There's a little delay here for Modena.
They're looking at the car, but not looking very closely at it. They seem more. There's a conversation now going on between the officials and the driver in the car.
Could be belts.
Or is it just the driver number not displaying properly on the digital system?
Could well be. Running a new system here to identify all the drivers. They're just checking that.
Yeah,
happy now?
It was driver ID. That's all it was. Each driver has to be identified to make sure no cheating goes on. The revs go up. Another brilliant start. Very sideways though. This might be slightly slow, but it looks quick. 4.020. It's quicker. And it's the quickest time of the day so far. Indeed, it's exactly the same.
Exactly the same time, nice and consistent. But I still think they could do more there. I still think when we see them in the top 6, they're surely going to be in the top 6. We could see a sub 4 there.
I think we could see well, we clearly could see a sub 4 second from that car. But in this afternoon's sprint, the time attack session, I do worry that car looks a little bit sideways when it's on the power, and I could see that being a cone count collector. And you'll see this afternoon what I mean by cone collectors, because I think that car could be bouncing down the grass quite a lot.
Yeah, and especially with the big wings that's on as well. You know, the less experienced drivers driving with those big wings that's probably beyond their field of vision. You know, we often see, as you say, the cone collectors, them catching the front wings, especially if they're, as you say, a bit squirrely on the power.
Well, car 97 from the University of Manchester on the start line now. We saw that earlier. Had a few issues. Let's see if they've gone away and solved them in the practice areas. It sounds good. No, they haven't. That's driver error, though. It seems to accelerate. When it gets going, it accelerates. It just, the driver didn't get it going.
Yeah, quite smooth power delivery in that car as well, but I just wonder, will they come back? No, I think they're going to go out. Have a bit of a practice of getting that car off the line, because they need it. I reckon they could get into the 5s, definitely into the 6s if they can just tidy that start up.
I once was driving here at Silverstone in a Formula V of all things, and in the free practice session I just spun at every corner, every single time. Clark of course had a word even to that point, and he said, "What's wrong with you? You can drive this track." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I just can't drive today." I went home, had a bath, came back to the track and set my fastest ever lap around the circuit.
It's often the way where you just take yourself away from the track and have a mull over, and not even particularly think, it's that corner, but just come back with a fresh mind. No, I've had that in some of the karting circuits as well. But in the meantime, here's Exeter, number 73, Celtic Cup runner. Lovely Takata belts on this thing as well. They look beautiful.
Yeah, it's unusual to see Takata belts so much in Europe. I mean, it's a Japanese, they're the leading supplier of seat belts in Japan, but their market in Europe isn't huge, and it's an unusual choice.
Yeah, but hopefully it's one that's obviously working for him. It's gone through all the tech and chassis checks and the egress checks as well. Every driver has to do an egress, so this is where the driver hops out, has to isolate the car as well. It's testing them that if there's an emergency, obviously we hope there are no emergencies that would need this to occur, can the driver get out in 5 seconds? And yeah, having a nice quality set of belts that enable you to do that is always very important here.
I've never seen an event at Formula Student go past where there hasn't been a car on fire at some point. So that is an important test. Well, for some reason the Exeter car is being pushed off the line again. The engine is running, so I'm not quite sure what the issue there is. But in its place, coming to the line for the first time I think today, is the number 31 car from De Montfort University. Now that car is neatly painted up as a Caterpillar digger.
It is as a Caterpillar digger. It's also one of my hashtag not biased favourite teams because it's got Double Dash Motorsport Media stickers on it.
How did you swing that?
Oh, they're good friends of mine. They've got a good BUKC team, did their egresses yesterday as well, and they went, "Can we have some stickers again like we had last year?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
I think we need to have a grudge match going on here. We need to have Double Dash Media versus SCL versus Let's Go Racing versus the iMech eStream stickers on these cars. We might get some race car engineering stickers on there as well. Have a media cup.
I think the iMech are going to win that. It's part of the regulations. They get their logo on everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's cheating, isn't it? Institution of Mechanical Engineers. Absolutely stunning building there. It's packed full of Britain's engineering history. You've got bits of old Napier engines, you've got aircraft, trains, cars, you name it. It's an amazing place to go.
It is indeed. I've not been down there in a few years myself, but De Montfort now coming to the line. Another team that has just come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. I remember they used to be one of the teams that we might have seen in the second session of endurance after the quick cars have run. Here they are, first event, first morning of the dynamic weekend, and looking to score points here at Silverstone.
Where is De Montfort based?
Leicester.
Oh, there you go. Driving through Leicester the other day.
Actually, I'm going back to the Birmingham link here because Carl Hingley, British Empire medal, and he was a big part of advising the De Montfort Uni team when they first got going. I think around 2011.
I can see the Double Dash sticker. It's a very prominent location as well. So they didn't put it on the bit that falls off when you crash it, though. That's why.
Yeah. I told them to keep it away from that bit.
Oh, the Caterpillar logos. Flag goes up. Revs go up. Car goes up the track. Relatively decent start, relatively decent acceleration. It gives a 4.650 for De Montfort University. First run for De Montfort University puts them into 9th position. Not bad at all.
Not bad, and if they control the wheel spin a little bit off the line, they could sneak a 4.5, maybe even 4.4 with this car.
Yeah, I completely agree. That is a competitive package there. So I look around for a bottle of water, realise we have none. It's a desert. Well, it's. I quite like their approach to having a sponsor's paint job. Sponsorship is a key part, attracting sponsorship for Formula students. The students have to do it, they're gifted it, the universities don't do it for them. The students have to do everything involved in the construction team and funding of the car.
Yeah, and the likes of your Caterpillar, your Perkins Engines as well. You know, these again are companies that aren't Formula One teams, aren't automotive manufacturers, but still looking for mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, controls engineering talent here in the UK and beyond. And big supporters of the competition. Great to see them. Great to see them on a British car as well. We know they've run on some of the Swiss and German teams before. So well done to De Montfort for getting that link going.
Not quite sure why it just says Northampton on the front. It's one word, Northampton. I'm not sure if that's a partnership with one of the educational institutions or they just quite like the town. Nonetheless, De Montfort launching off the line and getting nice and sideways along the straight, and that is a much harder start, and it's a 4.510. As you said, it's quicker. 8th position, 9th position.
And still runs to go as well. They've got a second driver who will be out later on.
Can't be too much later though. Time now is 11:34 here at Silverstone. If you're at Silverstone, you know this. If you're not, you're watching when I'm a key Formula student on Let's Go Racing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to those channels. Lots more videos coming up on those. You'll be able to watch this on demand as well. We are live and in the wind. A very gusty Silverstone this morning for the acceleration run. At 12:15 we'll have the top 6 run off. Following that there'll be a short break where we hear from Nicky Fields. He's been out and about in the paddock finding out the latest and greatest information there is. Then we'll be moving into the afternoon session at 1 not to miss. That is the sprint, if you like to call it that, or call it time attack if you're me.
Just looking through the programme, there's still some big teams that we haven't seen do a run yet. Coventry. No, we have seen Coventry.
We have seen Coventry briefly, but we haven't seen Bath.
We haven't seen either of the Bath cars yet. We haven't seen Queen's University Belfast yet.
Former British champions. With a rather controversial win, Queen's University Belfast, when they won the British Championship.
Also, bit to my own heart as well, haven't seen Birmingham yet. They've been having problems with the engine. Don't know if they've even made it through scrutineering yet.
We have seen Surrey before, the University of Surrey, with his very prominent Santander University's sponsorship on the rear wing. Now, we're hoping to hear from Jensen Button, who is representing Santander Universities, but I'm not sure we are going to. I haven't seen him here. I may be wrong, but he was posting on Instagram yesterday because I think he may have a small child on the way.
Ah, right, that was news to me, but no, I hope everything's okay. And meanwhile, Surrey are going to come line for their next run.
Yeah, the electric car, rear-wheel drive only electric car. Built in Guildford. Didn't have very strong runs early on. Of course, in Formula Student, you are allowed pretty much anything goes in terms of the powertrain department. Combustion engines up to 710cc. You are allowed to turbocharge them on top of that and supercharge and do other things. You're allowed hybrids. And this is a full electric car we should be seeing momentarily. Not quite sure what the issue is with it.
It's another car that we haven't seen. We haven't seen the modern hybrid car yet, which I'm really keen to see. There's the Surrey car horn again. I do like that. That's the signal that's basically telling everyone around the car that the car's now charged, about to move, and ready to set off.
Yeah, the modern hybrid, I mean, hopefully we'll see it this afternoon if we don't see it today, because that is a really interesting design. Take half an engine, chop it off, whack an electric motor into one of the cylinders, or on top of one of the cylinders. But that's not what Surrey have done. They've built a rear-wheel drive electric car. They're just getting ready on the start line. A few checks coming on from the officials. Don't look too serious. Nod's gone up, green flag's gone up. And the flag will raise in a minute, and the car will launch down the track. Much better launch than we've seen before. It's going to be the Surrey's best time, without a doubt. And it launched off the line 4.600. Cheer from the University of Surrey students on the pit wall. Puts them into 10th position.
Good run, that. Very good run from Surrey. Next up, one of, for me, the most improved teams this year. This is the University of Edinburgh, number 45. I didn't scrutineer them myself, but they were praised in tech scrutineering earlier in the week, you know, for having clearly listened from 12 months ago, and they had a bit of a tough time getting through tech, and they sailed through it this year. And well, Surrey are going to have one more go before that, but let's look out for this number 45 in a moment, because I think it's going to do quite well.
Well, Surrey driver seems quite calm actually. He just came to the line and just sort of said to the marshals, "I'm going to roll it back and straighten up." And his voice was incredibly calm.
It's a really, really important thing for the drivers. As I say, none of them are professionals. They're all amateur drivers. Some of them have probably never even done any kind of formal motorsport before. You've got to keep your cool in these situations. More for the the marshals and the volunteers to help you as well and understand what you need to do. So yeah, very good from the Surrey driver. This is should be their last run. Away they go.
Very neat and tidy getaway, no fuss at all. Is it going to be quicker? I'm not sure it will be. 4.940, no it's not. So Surrey currently sitting in 10th position overall. Not too bad. University of Edinburgh next, Celtic Cup runner. We have not seen them on track yet.
No, this is the first time. I was going to mention them in the list of teams that I know have got through scrutineering and hadn't seen yet, but it's good to see the 45 here. The Surrey horn goes again. That's just going to crack me up all weekend. But no, the Edinburgh car, they were having a little bit of a tinker with it last night. They've waited a bit, they've waited for the track conditions. Here it comes now.
Looks quite wide.
Yeah, quite wide and quite high at the front as well. Maybe a car in future years that we'll see with some wings on it if they continue this development package.
Tube frame car, again with former student. They're a little bit vague. Well, not vague, they just don't really exist. You can build a car as long as it's safe and meets the dimensional regulations out of whatever you like, really. Well, the revs go up. And well, a lot of revs are not. Andrew.
Yeah, drive issues there through the drivetrain. Let's see what the time was. 6.9. Needs a bit more pace than that to be a challenger in the Celtic Cup.
Yeah, it's not on the top sheet. It's just on the top sheet at the timing at the moment. We need to be going some to move up. So far, we've had 25 cars on track. Modena tops the timing from Aberdeen, Zwickau, Cardiff, Glasgow and Metz are currently the top 6 run-off teams. Metz just on the bubble though, could drop out of that extra session. Swansea, Brunel to Montford, Surrey, Huddersfield, Hertfordshire in that order. Oxford, Brookes and Hertfordshire, as ever, welded together and vying with each other for points, but neither of them are going to be happy with their current positions. Oxford Brookes having done all of its runs. No, Oxford Brookes still with 2 runs to go. Hertfordshire having done all of its runs. The Oxford Brookes will be back sooner rather than later to try and get in front of their old rivals. But right now, Edinburgh looking to get in front of, well, somebody.
As the wind massively picks up, there's hats flying around everywhere and off goes the number 45 Edinburgh car.
I don't think we can put that down to the headwind though. Edinburgh needing a bit more time on track. I think they need to go down to the practice area to try and get a bit more understanding of that car.
Yeah, but at least they've got points on the board there for running this morning. Exeter look like they're next up.
This should be the final. I think we've seen quite a lot of Exeter now.
They were pulled in and then pulled away again. So yeah, I think this is going to be run number 4 for them. I'll just go run over and check.
No, we wander over together and have a butchers, as they say, in some parts of England. Now, Exeter must have been the 26th position, so that's why we're not seeing it on screen. We'll find out how that gets on. Look at the bent radiator on the side of the car there. Radiators are something the Formula One is going to simplify massively in 2021, maybe even going into a spec radiator package, which I think is a real shame. But more technical development now in Formula Student than, well, anywhere else in motorsport, frankly.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one. I'm not a massive fan of when they start restricting the amount of development on non-aero parts. I've got some ideas I might run by you later, Sam, and see what you think of them, whether I'm talking bananas around...
You're up in the north, you should be talking pudding.
But But yeah, Exeter here for another run. I thought they were going to get pushed back for a second, but away they go.
Well, it was a rather confused start there by the driver, but rather stronger than we've seen. 6.420. Exeter get onto the top of into the first screen of the timing, moving up one place into 25th.
It was 1-3 actually, so they've got another one to go. So hopefully they can improve a little bit further. Maybe
They definitely can. They're losing time at the start. The drivers are losing time. They're not managing to get that car off the line. And I think when you see in the session this afternoon, where the start is less of a contributory factor to your outright result, I think you might see a slightly better performance from this car.
Yeah, but they've got one more chance now to get themselves further up the order. Top 20 would be good for Exeter if they can manage it.
I think they could manage to get into the top 20. I think there's a little bit more to come out of that package. Car 73 struggling a little bit just to get their head. I think the drivers are just struggling to get their heads around the car. That's the issue there.
Yeah, it's all coming with the experience as well that the drivers get at this stage of the weekend. I've been talking to some of the teams, they've been talking about drivability, you know, and that's been a real focus for some of the teams this year. It's one that I don't think enough teams have. You know, they say working on the aero, working on this, working on that. You know, having a car that's drivable. At the end of the day, the brief of these cars is that it's, you know, it's a semi-professional amateur racer car that's easy to pick up. We talked about the business presentation earlier. It's a big part of that aspect of the competition. And the way go Exeter.
That's the same problem again. They just didn't get it off the line neatly. And 6.790. That car is quicker than that. So it sits in 25th position, but the Exeter car has more to come.
Yeah, we'll see it later in the afternoon in the sprint event. There's a lull again. We've run out of cars.
Which gives me a time to grab a drink of water. I've just remembered where a bottle of water is.
Does indeed. Sam runs away to do that. Hope you're all enjoying your Saturday morning here at Silverstone. Or if you're watching the Army Key and Let's Go Racing stream at home, do keep your comments and questions coming in. We'll be having a look at them through the lunch break and into the afternoon. But we're in a proper comms box and we can sit and see computer screens and all the rest of it. So we wait now for the next cars to come out. Still a good number of the teams I would have expected to see this morning haven't come out yet. Not seen any Bath cars out so far this morning. There's only 15 minutes of the session to go and there's no leniency. The session will close at 12. I've had this myself back in 2012, driving for Birmingham, trying to get a run in on skid pad. We're waiting, we were going to be the next team, there was an incident out on track, we missed 12 o'clock as a result, and that was it, that was the end of the event. It's tough to take, and I fear that's going to be the situation for some of our teams here in Acceleration this morning. I'm just going to have a little wander across actually, to have a look down the pit lane. The Surrey car's being pushed away back into the pit lane. See who we've got coming down the pits now. The University of the Basque Country are here. Number 48. They're going backwards. They're not here. They're here, but they're not here. The Zwickau team are here again. The number 196. So hopefully we'll see them back out in a moment. And we'll get some more runs on the board. They'll be looking for an improvement. They're currently sat in third place on a 4.320. Modena still your leaders on a 4.020 and the number 37 from Italy. Aberdeen second with that 4.16 on run 3 that was run very, very early in the session. Zwickau third, as we mentioned, on a 4.3. Cardiff haven't done their third and fourth runs yet. The former champions from the Welsh capital in the number 15 on a 4.35 at the moment. We've got a tie for fifth between Glasgow, the number 52, 4.36, and Metz from France in the number 57. So that's your top six at the moment. If the event was to finish right now, that would be the set of teams that we see run in the shootout at 12:15. That's for basically extra points. 75 points available for this part of the competition, an extra 5 points, if I'm not mistaken, for the shootout that goes to the winner, 4 to second place, 3 to third. You get the picture. That's unfortunately whoever finishes in sixth in the shootout gets nothing at all, apart from the points that they got in the first section. Zwickau are coming back out onto the circuit, the number 196 from Germany, the black, green and gold car. team working to get the tyres clean. This is the kind of meticulous attention that the WHZ racing team from Zwickau give their car. It really is good to see them back here at Silverstone. Run at the Netherlands event, speaking to one of their drivers last night about how he's feeling ahead of driving the sprint course. Hasn't driven this sprint course before, but we'll see later in the afternoon, but has experience in previous competitions. Looks like we're about ready then for Zwickau to be pushed out. We'll hit a little beep from the electric car to tell everybody that we're ready to go. We'll have skid pad results for you later on as well. We haven't forgotten about that. That's continuing out in the paddock area, in the car parks behind the paddock. We'll keep you up to date with the results of that when we get them. Here comes Zwickau then. The little siren sounds away. Zwickau roll to the line. Loads of sponsors on this car. Really well-backed team. De Montfort look like they're coming out for their second driver as well. Thumbs up starting. Green flag ready, away it goes. Oh no, it's not a good start for Zwickau at all. And they've stopped, well they've got going again now, but that's run 3 gone. Not for Zwickau at all. This is going to be beyond 10 seconds. I hope the car's okay, because that's quite an abrupt start that almost stalled. I didn't know electric cars could stall, but what happened there? That was a quite strange start from Zwickau. A lot of wheel spin on the front wheels, and then it just kind of stopped.
Driver-induced failure.
They've rolled back now to have a 4th go. This will be their final go. Remember, they're sat in 3rd at the moment on a 4.320. Yeah, everything looks okay on the car. The driver got a little bit too excited there on his first run. Marshall's checking around. Looks like we're good to go then for the final run for Zwickau. Better start, much better start. This is going to be a very quick time from Zwickau. 4.01.
100 quicker.
And it's quicker by 1/100th of a second than the Italians. Zwickau into the lead, Sam.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be very, very competitive now. This is, and bear in mind these cars at the top get another run for that final group of points. The top 6 run off. At the moment, Zwickau, Modena, Aberdeen, Cardiff, Glasgow, and Met. Not a single English team in the top 6 at the moment. It's Celtic Cup runners and foreigners basically. It's the EU and the North, EU and the Celts versus England, and England aren't playing.
No, not doing well at the moment. Here is an English entry though, De Montfort University from Leicester.
Or Northampton, according to the nose.
Yeah, why is Northampton there on the front nose? They're lining up now. This is their 3rd run. Second driver's 1st run, 3rd run for the team. Number 31, get the green flag, waiting to go. Trying to get the level of the revs right.
Good launch though. When it gets going, it really does go that De Montfort car, and that's going to be a 4.850. Once he can get it going, if he can stop it, because he disappears off to Northampton, 4.850. Now, if they got off the line better, that would be a very quick time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. And hopefully they can do that. 4.5 at least, I think that car can get.
I think go quicker than that actually, but Caterpillar track off the line and flying down the middle section. I think most Caterpillars, I don't know, they do their own engines. They're powered by Cummins.
Not sure actually. I need to research that one as to what they do, but good to see him again following De Montfort here. They're going to go for their final run. Edinburgh are preparing for their next set of runs as well.
Caterpillar not allergic to branding on-track engines. I remember the Volkswagen-based Caterpillar engine, diesel engine, the first diesel engine to race at Le Mans for many, many years after a French guy tried it in, I think, 1957.
Yeah.
But Caterpillar returning with the Taurus Sport diesel for a while. That engine ended up in the back of a Radical and then disappeared for being uncompetitive.
Here goes De Montfort then. Final run. Okay-ish start. Oh, but they've lost it in the middle section.
Well, lost everything in the middle section. Died. Don't know what happened there. The power, electrical failure? No, it would have. No, yeah, it sounds like an electrical failure.
Yeah, struggling to restart now, and stranded marshals are going to be running over to the De Montfort car. I hope that doesn't spell trouble for De Montfort in sprints, but they're going to have work to do there if they've got an electrical issue.
If it is an electrical issue, it can be very quick to fix, though sometimes it's a little bit more of a challenge to fix electrical issues. Well, car that's got a challenge of getting down 75 metres in a straight line until this afternoon, the time attack session. It's the 45 of Edinburgh, University of Edinburgh, not Edinburgh University.
Indeed, means they're under you in the programme. I can see the Biscaya guys still hanging around. Hopefully their car will come back into the queue in a moment. You can also see the Ice Vikings as well here.
SDU Vikings I've seen, but I don't think their car is in. I think it's more of a component-based project.
Right, so fair enough, but good to see they're still showing support for the competition. Edinburgh.
And now the marshals are causing a delay with their hats. They've given up on the hats. The hats left on the starting grid. You can see that breaking the timing beam.
Rogue hats on circuit. We've seen all sorts on this short piece of 75-metre circuit today. Hopefully we'll get the Edinburgh car out in a moment.
Well, there's a short delay for these marshals and their hats.
Someone's very, very happy down the pit lane. I think it might be Zwickau.
Shouting. They like shouting, don't they? They have their shouty chants.
They all like the shouty chants over on the continent. I should say Birmingham like having a shouty chant as well. Edinburgh still holding then.
I don't think Mets have a shouty chant. They just sort of have a shrug of satisfaction or a.
It's very French.
Ouais.
Très bien.
Bon. Well, it is very bon for Mets at the moment. 6th position, so they're in the runoff.
They are indeed. There was another car that ran very early on as well. They might be a bit of a dark horse for that 6th car runoff. Edinburgh though, what can they do? Number 45. Space frame chassis, Hoosier tyres. A lot of the teams running Hoosier tyres this year. It seems to be again the tyre of choice.
Hoosier tyres long-term support of Formula Student. The truck's in, Andy's in the back of the truck in the paddock. And Edinburgh didn't burn away much of that Hoosier rubber. Still more revs than there is rear wheel rotation.
Yeah, more problems there for Edinburgh. We're going to have to work on those. Now here's a car that we've talked about many times over the years, Sam. It's the University of Wolverhampton, the Wolves. Number 11 this year, did very well last year. And another car that we had in Tech, did very well. Again, respectful, very well prepared team. And good to see them running here in the Saturday morning.
Well, UWR Racing really should be doing well because they know what they're doing. They run a car in in the Formula 3 Championship, one of the 3 championships here in the UK. So yeah, UWR, and they've got a Morgan Racing this weekend as well. So they have a multiple racing team going on. They are not one of the universities that you would expect to be local area as university as an institution, but actually their engineering department and their automotive side of things is really beginning to impress quite a few people.
Absolutely. I regularly go at Autosports International when that event's on at the Birmingham NEC. You know, they're doing some great recruitment, some great work in the field. Meanwhile, here goes Edinburgh for their final run. It's not going to be a quick one, Sam.
No, again, it's just like the drivers don't understand the car, or it's not somehow not managing to transmit the revs to the powers. It feels like it's slipping its clutch the whole way.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. But here comes, Wolverhampton have stalled.
Well, we haven't seen Wolverhampton on track yet, have we? And
we've seen half of Wolverhampton out on track. They just need to get the other half of them out on track. There we go, over the little curb, driving it round. But again, quite a similar concept to what we've seen from Wolverhampton before. Quite an odd-looking car in a way, but it works well for them. No yellow wheels though. Where have the yellow wheels gone?
I know. I was, the mismatched multicoloured wheels are gone, and I think that's a bit of a shame because Wolverhampton could clearly never decide what colour wheels they had, so they put all of the colours on all at once, and I thought that was quite nice. But yeah, funny-looking car as always from Wolverhampton, but it does seem to work dynamically.
Here we go then. Wolverhampton's first run. Away they go. Very aggressive start.
He's topped out the rev limiter on the final, needed another gear in the box at the end. 4.890, and it almost sounded like the throttle got stuck.
Yeah, they might want to have a little look at that, if that was the case, the throttle getting stuck open.
And he stopped the engine down at the end and is getting a push back. Yeah, I think the throttle did get stuck on the Wolverhampton car, but 4.890 is a respectable time. Puts Wolverhampton in 18th position, just behind Agda. But that's a car that if they can sort out that throttle issue, they will, yeah, as I say, it's a decent dynamic car.
Should be indeed. University of the Basque Country next, the Formula Vizcaya team. And they've had a real challenge this week. They've had an up and down week so far, but they're running here in acceleration. And I'm pretty sure we've seen this car in the top 6 in previous years as well. This could be a very quick time coming up.
The part of the world that this university is based in, of course, in the Basque Country, there is a real engineering expertise up there, just north of Spain.
It is indeed. Great to see him back here at Silverstone, the number 48 car. There's the green flag. Oh no!
That was the left wheel is doing all the driving and not the right, Andrew.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not doing what it's meant to be doing.
That was a 6.880 with one wheel drive. He's going to come back and have another go, though. I don't know if the driver realises he's only getting drive out of one side of the car.
Was that a one-wheel drive record, a world record for acceleration, I wonder?
I think it probably is. That probably is the one-wheel drive world record for Formula Student acceleration. And I don't know if the team. I think the officials are going to stop the car actually from having another run. So I think the driver hasn't twigged. The team's there as well. They've got their marigolds on. They think they know that the car's only got one-wheel drive. They're shouting at him in
something in Spanish.
Or Basque.
Or Basque, yeah.
Well, is Basque the language of the Basque country?
I'm not sure. I'm not good at languages.
No. I'd call it just something north of Spanish.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But they've come back round for the second go. Let's see again. So watch on the pit wall, the rear left. If that's spinning like crazy, they've probably got the same problem.
Yeah, they do. It's one-wheel drive. The left rear wheel is spinning the whole way down the whole way down the straight, 6.850. The right rear wheel, and the team on the pit wall can't see this. They don't realise that they've got no traction on the right-hand side. It's a one-wheel drive car.
It's probably they've got a lot of traction. They're just not using it.
Well, there you go. That's the Basque Country in the top 25. Disappointing for them. Manchester want to have another go. Keep on seeing that car. 15 minutes to go. So all these cars have 15 minutes left to qualify, I believe. I'm looking around for the official for a timing. Am I right? There's 15 minutes until the event closes? The event has closed now, okay. So the top 6 run-off is now. Okay, well there you go. The event has closed. That's why Manchester has been pushed back. So that is it. So if we haven't seen them now, so now it is the top 6 run-off cars, which are the cars we expect to see out. It's car number 196 from Zwickau, top of the table. Modena, the car 37, 33 from Aberdeen, 15 from Cardiff, 52 from Glasgow, and the French do say bon, because they're in 6th from Mef. So we'll be lining up these cars across the track here at Silverstone, and then one by one driver, one run, fastest time wins. And that is the shootout for this trophy. Should be quite fun. Jay Staten looks like he's having fun. From Sheffield Refractories, another Yorkshire pudding. As the officials start to gather, they like this bit. They all start gathering around in their purple uniforms. Andrew Mappers is looking around as we're waiting to wind up the cars. I'm going to go and have a look over on the edge of the... For some of these cars, we do this every year. We wander off and try and find where these top 6 run-off cars are. There's usually officials charging around the pit lane looking for cars because they don't realise they're in the runoff, or they're messing around on the skid pad, or in the practice area trying to get their fuel in or something. And we're looking, and as usual, there's only one of the top 6 runoff cars in there. Well, at the moment, Aberdeen's going to get all the points, which will give them a huge advantage in the Celtic Cup, as they're clearly leading that competition at the moment. I can see the Italians on their way as well, trying to spoil the Italian day. Be interesting to see how the Italians celebrate if they get this win, but I don't know what celebration looks like in Aberdeen. I've never been that far north in the UK. throwing meatballs and pasta around. I don't think they do that in Aberdeen. Haggis and oil, probably. That is the University of Aberdeen. Next up, there's a bit of a discussion going on the start line. There's some of the officials look quite chilly. I don't think it's cold at all. Oh, in the trucks they say it's freezing. They're just
indoors.
yeah, there's quite a warm breeze. Yeah, you're absolutely freezing. So in the truck, it's colder than outside. Okay, that's interesting. Well, the cool air will mean a bit more air density, a bit more power for the combustion engine cars, but we've got petrol engine cars going against them here. And I don't know who I'd put my money on going fastest. I'm going to ask Andrew Deacon, who's going to be faster? Who's going to win this then?
I have no idea because I didn't see anyone. Who's in the top 6?
Oh, well, we'll tell you who's in the top 6. There you go. Well, it's the University of Zwickau with that electric car, the Germans. Then Modena from Italy, of course. Aberdeen, car 33, first time for them in the top 6 runoff. Cardiff, 15, former champions. Glasgow, the second Scottish team in the top 6. And 57 from Metz, Enim, the French team. So, Andrew, you can tell us at least which country the winner of top 6 runoff is going to come from.
Well, looks like Zwickau's a top favourite there.
No, Zwickau gone fastest so far.
Yes.
Oh, so he's going for Germany. I'm going to say the fastest car's coming from Scotland. It's definitely not coming from England. We can say that with certainty.
The Celtic Cup runner's running well, and so we haven't got any skid pad results. I tried to get some skid pad results, and I haven't got them yet. But if Joe's out there, help! I need skid pad results.
Now, in Welsh, who do you think is going to be on top of Dowie?
Cardi.
Exactly. So he's saying Zwickau as well.
Yeah.
We're going to hear from Dowie. I'm going to pronounce his name properly. Dewey. Dewey Griffiths. So Dewey, Dinky, in Welsh, just give us a bit of a preview, because we've got Welsh viewers and we have some Welsh language commentary here.
Croeso I bawb y penwythnos yma. Mae'r raso yn edrych yn eitha dda, mae'r trac yn sych. Ni'n edrych ymlaen.
Exactly, and that is exactly why Zwickau are going to be the fastest team. That's what Dowie was saying. He's nice hat too. This is like doing Super Formula.
My response to that is Borodar. That's as far as my Welsh goes.
Is that Welsh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. For a good morning.
I always thought you were a little bit araf.
Borodar is what I say at Llandau and Anglesey and places like that at the start of a broadcast.
Yeah, okay, track them on. So we're just waiting for the top 6 cars to line up. I know some of them are in the holding area. It's unusual you get out warm up, isn't it? It's very strange. But it is nice and warm down there. The track surface here at Silverstone is radiating warm up to us, so it's quite nice being out on the track circuit. If you can't see us, we're actually out on the starting grid. You'll probably see us on the camera. As I come and look into the rather bustling pit lane here at Silverstone, I can see 2 cars in the queue. Is there a third car back there? Yes, there is. Just joining the line. 3 of 6 in the top 6 run out. But we're still missing 3 cars, and I think Andrew's now being told which of the 3 are missing. Andrew, give us an update.
I've just made a technical decision that we're going to run the slowest car of the 6 first.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Of course, that may not be the slowest car of the 6. 1 driver, 1 run, 1 prize. The top 6 run off here at Formula Students. Now, this afternoon's session, which I call Time Attack, is same format, 2 drivers per car. Each driver gets 2 runs. They can run whenever they like within I think it's a 6-hour window, 5-hour, 6-hour window. The track is forecast to be dry all afternoon, but it is Silverstone in summertime, so it could be anything you imagine. The Oxford Brooks aeroplane is coming back to have a look at that weather. Flying around, having a look at the weather conditions. Not sure they'll learn too much. There you go. Well, just under 5 hours and 15 minutes. 5 hours and 45 minutes, there you go, for this afternoon's session. And it is a time attack, so it is just go around the course. The course is specially constructed. There are slaloms involved, but it is a very high-speed course in places. Some revisions over previous years. The new section of track is described to me as being a bit like the Porsche curves at Le Mans.
Ben would say that, my mate Ben. Just to point out as well, on the stream, we have a man in charge of dynamic events, or deputy in charge of dynamic events, who has set up this endurance course who doesn't know how to drive. This could be chaos.
Oh, that sounds fun. And it can get, the endurance tomorrow, calling it chaos is a little bit of an understatement, because it usually is. There's normally fires, crashes, overtaking, wheel-to-wheel battling. Anything can happen in Formula Student, and it pretty much usually has already.
Indeed. Shall I go have a chat with some of the teams? I want to have a chat with the Aberdeen guys like I did yesterday and see what I'm thinking.
Let's go together. We'll go together, and we'll see how good our microphone range is. While we get this line as the cars line up, we will have this final run off, and then I'm going to go and eat a burger, cheese and bacon, I think. Silverstone's improved its food greatly in recent years. Well, still only 3 cars in the queue, so soon enough, some of these boosted. Well, Aberdeen's being pushed order fast. Yeah, there you go. So let's find out from Aberdeen. So who's going to be the top Scottish car? Be Strathclyde. I think that's fair. Not in the top 6. But we do have, for the first time ever, 2 Scottish.
Far too much. Score!
Of course. We've got the German electric fast to run. Well, it's not put in its times every single.
Can you just tell Chris?
Good enough. They don't get into the lane now. It's going to be quite interesting. So you can see to lose all of their points in their run slot. As are the Italians. So here come the French. Metz. After Metz, very good looking. Very good to see. I like to see the French doing well.
Thank you.
Merci is the the MRT.
Perfect.
Parfait is how you say it. People speak brilliant French. Hopefully they can get the bin line. Otherwise they can. A lot of teams putting special coatings on their slick tyres to get them.
Whether they were going to go new set, but no, they've got the scrubbed in set there, which is probably the wisest choice. Glasgow coming in. The car
No, and we're certain they won't finish order, but one car that's moving into the staging area. Metz is being pushed forward. Glasgow's getting ready as well. But there is a big hole here on the in the queue where Cardiff University should be. And the Cardiff team have not. The former British champions and former Baltic Cup winner are not here. And this is a big disaster for Cardiff if they don't make it. Formula One car designer Willem Tot is pointing and waving. Willem A staunch supporter of this competition, having worked for many, many Formula One teams over the years. I think he's still involved with, we have to call it Alfa Romeo. I nearly said the Swiss one. Alfa Romeo, who are helped by Sauber Engineering, as we call it, as the Metz car is going on. So Willem Tot, one of the key players at the Alfa Romeo F1 team. We've got representatives from Red Bull Racing here as well. Williams Formula One, I've seen. Mercedes, of course. McLaren are definitely here in the judging team. Not sure if I've seen anyone from Force India, because that doesn't exist anymore. Or Racing Point.
Or Racing Point, or Jordan, or Spiker, or any of the other former...
Midlands.
Midland, yeah.
So no one from Team Silverstone. They probably are here, I just haven't spotted anyone from that organisation. The same way I haven't spotted anyone from Cardiff in this queue. As the cars are being staged up, as you can see on your screens. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be able to run each of these cars one by one, with the first car taking to the track will be car 57 from Metz in France. Each driver, one run. 5 bonus points. So these points are really important. There's a total score at the end of the event. A bonus of 5 points at the end of the event is a huge benefit.
Just one point that I don't think we've actually touched. Did Cardiff make a second set of runs?
Now there is speculation there may be trouble for Cardiff. And this is why we're not seeing the car. We may be only having 5 of the top 6 because one of those cars, one of the Celtic Cup runners, the car from Wales, is not here at the moment. And whatever the issue was, Cardiff are rushing to the holding area. And they better be quick because the cars are now beginning to be rolled out, as you see. And they're going down to the warm-up area. The Italians just saying, can they warm it up? They've got a very fine-sounding car from Modena. The Germans, whose car doesn't really sound very much at all, they are fettling it, as only Germans can now. Well, let's hope Cardiff can get here before the Germans push into the area, because Cardiff are on the verge of losing their slot. This hasn't happened before. And this is a real high point of the Formula Student competition. If you're here at Silverstone Circuit, make sure you get down to the old start-finish Formula One pits area. You're about to get a hell of a show. As Andrew Mather's busy looking at Formula Students on some form of social media. I think, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll be bringing you edits throughout the day on Let's Go Racing, on FS, IMEC EFS. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Carrier Pigeon, and old Nokia phones. We've got a great lineup of cars here. On the left-hand side, car 57 from Enim, the French team. There, car 52 from Glasgow. 33, the other Scottish car from Aberdeen. 37 from Modena. The empty slot that should be filled by the Welsh. And car 196. And the Welsh have finally arrived. Well, well, well. We called them in English, we called them in Welsh, and they finally decided it's probably worth turning up to show the English how it should be done. And the driver's in the car. And 205.2 kilos the Welsh car weighs. You'll see that on your cameras in a minute. I'll go and check you the weights on the rest of the car here to the top 6 runoff. So, starting with the fastest car we've seen so far, the electric car from Germany. That weighs in, bear in mind it's a 4-wheel drive car, 199.5 kilos. Then car 37, 196. That's the car from Modena, the Italian. That's 196 kilos in weight. The car from Aberdeen, 229.5 kilos. Bit of a heavy car, that. Car 52 from Glasgow, just 201 kilos, while the French car, the heaviest of the lot in this run-off session, 252 kilograms, which is really quite a lot when you're trying to accelerate from 75 metres as fast as you possibly can. That is a real heavyweight car, which means it must have a whole chunk of power in there. Should be quite exciting. Well, there you go, all 6 cars in the line. I'm going to line over to the officials and the timekeepers to see. The marshals have told the officials they're all standing in the way, so the officials are saying they're not official enough. And to get out of the way, so the officials are in the way of the officials, so the official competition can't start. Are you France?
I think we are. But we've got 6 cars now, so that's already one tick in the box.
5 cars with running engines, 1 car with 4 motors, so I don't know if they're switched on or not. It hasn't made a little noise. And, well, the grid is clear. The officials look ready, the timekeepers look ready when I get out of their way. They've stopped watching Neighbours on telly, apparently. It's the World Netball Championship, of course, today. They are keeping time on the netballs. We've got a really good partnership with our timekeepers here at Silverstone. HS Sports Timing have been doing it for years now. We've got a right nice little setup. It goes well, and we have fun every year, don't we? I don't understand why your van's so cold, because it's nice and warm out here now. But they have, yes, they have developed a little wind tunnel. And one of the reasons for that wind tunnel is so we can have a stream talking to you. Well, Andrew Deakin, one of the senior event officials, is just checking everything is, well, not quite ship-shaped, car-shaped.
Car-shaped and track-shaped, but we're all ready now. So again, we'll run in reverse order. So Metz will go first, as they were 6th fastest in the first part of this acceleration event. 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd up to Zwickau, who were fastest. That's not quite the order that you're looking at the cars in at the moment.
No, I think Cardiff has gone in out of position because they were late.
But I'm sure Mr. Jake Wallace and his team will sort that out accordingly. And it's quite a different top 6 run-off, Sam, because, as you say, only 1 electric car. Previously, it's been dominated by electric cars.
Yeah, and that has been an issue for, not an issue, it's just been it's one of the natural advantages of electric vehicles. They have this amazing torque, but they do pay a weight penalty. So I'm just looking at the weights of the car. Heaviest car here, Enim, which is over 50 kilos heavier than some of the other cars in this runoff.
Yeah, but we'll see if that's going to affect them or not, because here they come now. This is the first runner then in the top 6 shootout for acceleration. 5 extra points available for this competition if you are faster than 6 cars. 4 for 2nd, 3 for 3rd, all the way down to 6th, where you get nil point. Hopefully it won't be nil point for the French.
Well, let's have a look. The car is on the start line, all the way from Metz, getting the final words of briefing from the driver. The thumbs are up from the officials. The green flag is ready. The thumbs are up all around. The timekeepers are ready. The flag goes up. The ribs go up. And it does. Oh, he's going to. And a great start there from the number 57 car. Gets off the line. Puts in a time of 4.461. I don't think that's going to be enough to win this championship.
No, decent run there, but no, you're going to need to do at least a 4.1. I mean, there is a high pressure on these drivers, and we've seen with the Zwickau car, that's not always done a sub or 4.0 or below that. So you're going to have to run at least 4.1 in this, I think, to take the extra 5 points. But a good effort there for Metz on a 4.4.
University of Glasgow next on the staging line, car 52, and there is a little bit of rain in the air. Oh, that could make a big difference. The rain has started to fall here at Silverstone Circuit. Glasgow won't feel the worst of it though. Just going to be psychological. Great getaway there for car 52. The driver just hanging onto the steering wheel to get a 4.508. Moving into, oh yes, slightly slower.
Slightly slow indeed. It is spitting. It's not heavy enough yet that I think it would affect the cars. The track's still warm. The cars are still warm. Let's see how Cardiff do. They're the 3rd runner in this top 6 shootout.
Well, they like the Scottish teams. They do know a thing or two about rain in Wales. So the Welsh car on the car 15 on the start line. Won the championship overall 2 years ago. Real turn up for the books. Very popular team. Not the best start though, he might have broken the timing, been really good launch once he got going though, and that's a 4.374, moves top of the chart, but I think he might have broken the timing beam off a little bit too early.
Yeah, lost a tenth or 2 there, but at least it puts him top of the table for now. Next up, University of Aberdeen. This is one of my favourite cars this weekend. Really nicely put together, space frame chassis, no wings, This is purely on the power from the traction from the tyres and the power from the engine as to how this car's going to get on down the straight. Great start, Sam. Really good run. This could be a strong time. Can it beat Cardiff's 4.3? It can.
4.202, just 2 cars to go as well. Aberdeen, we know now that's a very quick car and consistently so. However, Modena is quick too. Are they quick enough? They've had a few problems getting it off the line, we've seen today, but they are fast when they do it.
The Italians didn't have a good time last weekend in the Grand Prix. Are they on here at Formula Students in the acceleration top 6 runoff? Modena flying the flag for Italia. Here we go. This is going to be a quick run. High revs, away they go. Great start for Modena. Are they going to beat the 4.2? I think they are. It's a 4.0.
Or 4.03. That's a big mark now. That is a challenge laid down by the Italians. Only one car left. It's UAS Zwickau. The Germans are coming to their line. 4-wheel drive, electric. Can it beat multi-cylinder Italian grunt?
This is all going to be about how good a start they get. We've seen inconsistency from Zwickau this morning in the first phase of their starts. Can they nail it here? One chance to get the top 5 points to win the acceleration event at Formula Student 2019. Away they go. Very good start, Sam. This could be good enough. Is it going to break Modena's time? It is!
It is! 3.920, and that's it. UAS Zwickau win acceleration at Formula Student 2019. Fantastic result for the team. The Germans are very happy with that. They'll get a nice big trophy tonight for that, or I think tomorrow night for that, and that is a great result for them. We'll be back, however, here at Formula Student in around 45 minutes' time with the time attack session on the sprint course. That's going to be very different to what you've just been watching, so stay tuned here on YouTube, on Formula Student, and on Let's Go Racing. Stay tuned to us here on this channel, and we'll be back with you in about 45 minutes. We hopefully have some videos from Nikki through the break, and we'll find out a bit behind the scenes, and we should be back with you in about 45 minutes.